Thank you, Smita. Namaste to all and very good afternoon. Uh, I'm going to do this presentation on my experience of designing public buildings beyond Kathmandu Valley in the context of this negotiating transition in the emerging built landscape. Firstly, I'd like to start this presentation with Kevin Lynn's theory, while imagining a city, paths, edge, district, nodes, and landmarks are the five basic elements. And building is always a landmark. And in context of Nepal, public building is has always been a landmark. Used to be the landmark, and now also it should be a landmark. But nowadays it feels like the buildings are losing their identity as landmark. And so through this presentation, I'm trying to show that how our buildings are working, are being presented in this urban scenario, and how should an architect negotiate with different components, different parts of the society while designing a building and while designing a public building. So I like to briefly go through the reasons, the importance of building in different time frame in Nepal. So political changes have a very important value and importance in the building and architecture sector. So we can see the Mughal and Shah period were basically temple and palace centric development. And when it comes to Rana period, the neoclassical palaces have been constructed, and they were seen very important. And after the democracy, the new another political change in 1951 up to 1990. I think there was that time was was an era for modern architecture, establishment of initiation of modern architecture in Nepal, and that has been documented. Kia has also documented those buildings. And after that, now we are into another political movement, like after Maoist movement until now we have this Gen Z revolution. So now how our building will respond to all these political changes, and how our public buildings should keep stand in this scenario. So I like to focus on that. So now I like to come to my major focus, that is public buildings. So public buildings should work as a landmark in built landscape because they are first constructed, developed as a nation's priority and investment, and they are located in almost all part of the country. They are located in major prime locations, and public have always direct access to these buildings. So these public buildings can show an importance as a landmark to the public. These buildings. So while designing now come to designing the process of designing public buildings, we have to do a lot of negotiations, and there are basically three factors as I saw. Time means aspiration. This due course of time, people have aspirations. Their necessity and needs have been improved, have been increased. So the scale that increases the scale of the buildings, public buildings. And while talking about geography, I like to focus on availability of material and technology. So we should be able to use the materials, modern materials in different geographic locations, because the public building, the scale of the public building should be high. So there is limitation of construction of public buildings in locally available material in some cases. And then comes the requirement, that is the scale of the building. The client's requirement is also increased due to this service delivery scale is also increased. So I like to share my experiences of these negotiations in different scale of buildings in different parts. One in Tarai, one in Pahad, and one in Himal, and how the building product has finally come to this stage. And I'm not saying that this is the best product we have created, but I like to discuss the process of negotiation while coming to this stage. Firstly, I like to present airport terminal building in Janakpur, which lies in the eastern Tarai region of Nepal, and it was designed in 2009, and the project started to the construction started in 2011, and it took 6 years to complete. So there was a negotiation. We had to negotiate with time, and the Tarai region of Nepal is now an average 100,000 passengers travel through this airport annually. So the scale of the building should be comfortable for that passenger, for that user size. So that won't, that can't be, that can justice, that can have the same architectural flavor that the residential neighborhood of that Tarai region should have. So. This was the first slide. The first photo is the design we did, and we involved to make the product like the next one. So this is the photo of the building after construction, and this is the streetlight. This was the building, airport building before. So we had to replace that building to the new one. So we can compare the scale. So we have to come to that size. So while coming to the meet the requirements, we have to adopt new material and technology, and we have tried to introduce this steel structure and prefabricated material technology in Nepal with a condition, our capacity of the contractor and all. So there was a great experience and challenge, and we got this opportunity just after a few years of our graduation. So we had to suffer a lot while making this project happen and come to this stage. So we had to do a lot of negotiations with many actors of the society. And these are some views. Now I like to talk to another project in Mugu. This is a hospital project, and Mugu is a Himalayan region. So this is a 25-bed hospital constructed through foreign aid, and as this is done through foreign aid, and we had a lot of other stakeholders to negotiate with in terms of requirements, in terms of basic mandatory spaces, codes, and everything. So while following these all hurdles, we came the product came to like this. The next photo, the lower photo. So ideally the construction technology of Mugu as a Himalayan region is mud mortar with stone and all, but that technology couldn't give us the result of this scale. So we have to go to the next solution, and this is the context. So this is the rural context of Mugu, and this was how the hospital used to give health service to the public. So here the main priority was service delivery. Health service delivery was the main priority. So now the building, as we can argue, if we just look at the photo, the scale of the building is superimposing the context. But the main requirement, the main aspect of the building is service delivery. So we had to do that. And this is the terrain and the local context. So this is a residential context, and this residential construction context is really difficult to be used for hospital building, and had to follow a lot of negotiations. And there was no chance of using other prefabricated material and bricks here, so we had to set up a chiseling, stone chiseling machine here, and all the stones were carried from quarry and chiseled there at the site. And you can see the transition building scale is also in transition stage. So the scale of the building, the material, the context, everything is in transition. So in order to meet the transition and come to a proper solution, we had to negotiate a lot. And the result was in the transition of health service delivery to the public, and that was improved through the project. And now this is the context of the area after the construction of the building. And lastly, I like to focus on a research center building, this academic building in Kathmandu University premises in Dhulikhel. And this is the context. So the context of university, Kathmandu University is it's more improved traditional setup. It is not perfectly traditional settlement of Panauti or Dhulikhel, but there are some improvisation in the architectural setup as well as improvisation in the buildings because of the scale of the building. Because these all are academic buildings. So an academic building has some limitations. So and we took this as context because we are designing in the premises of KU. We took this as an example and context for the design. And we try to use the context of exposed brickwork in a better way. I mean, this is also a transition. There was transition in the design, and there was some intervention in the use of bricks. So this was the master plan, and how we came to this was the next photo is the photo of the building almost in construction, almost in its finishing stage. So the building has been designed in terrain, and there is a courtyard inside in the slope terrain itself, and the roof. The building volume has been designed in slope in order to give respect to the context, to our context of KU. And we try to transition is inevitable. I mean, we cannot argue that transition. We can stop transition. It happens, but we should try what we believe, and what I started to work is we should try to work in guided and controlled transition, and yes, there is always negotiation, a lot of negotiation to be involved and to be faced with. With this, I like to finish my presentation, and this is a photograph of one of our projects, and it shows the transition, like the rural farmland with the intervention of some building. The building is felt necessary and has been constructed there, but the scale of the building, the building itself is changing, is being transferring. Is elemental for the transition of the whole locality. With this, I like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.